Alright everyone, welcome back to some professional StarCraft. This Friday night, we have a match between two of the best Zerg players in all of North America. From both sides. You should recognize them, but if you don't, we'll do the generic intro. It's a best of 9, by the way. And in Zerg versus Zerg, that means it's probably like a best of 5 in TVT. But let's find out in the bottom right. The best Mexican Zerg player, a ladder hero on Team Chivo. His name is Cham. How are you gonna know it's serious business without the zooms and the... Did you know, in order to do that fancy zooming, if you've never ever been able to read the hotkeys, it's just the insert and delete keys. Pro tip, the more you know. And in the top left, the Queen of Blades. The Canadian Zerg, training and qualifying for GSL in Korea. She is none other than Scarlett. I'm not sure. Team Newbie, by the way, which is a little bit of an unfortunate name. I believe it's a Chinese team. But currently sponsoring her. GL. Good luck. Starting out on Thunderbird. Now ZVZ, I think ZVZ is one of those matchups. Oh my. Oh my god. Oh, my brain hurts. Why would you do a smiley face like that? Oh. Moving on. Okay. ZVZ, if you don't get into the details, it can on the surface feel like a boring matchup. I understand if I don't empathize, but I understand a lot of people like, oh, ZVZ again, Raynor versus Cyril again. But ZVZ is actually super interesting because of how much it's like a poker game. Other matchups like Terran versus Terran, you've got map hacks, you've got scan, you've got a very high likelihood of being able to get the information you need very quickly. Like there's very rigid builds. How many ravens did you build? Stuff like that. PvP is less like playing poker and more like playing blackjack, where it's like I've got a proxy robo and I don't see his second pylon. Hit me with that proxy Stargate. Ah, shit. But ZVZ is very much knowing a little bit of information and making some pretty serious assumptions based off that. There's a whole lot of like, did you move your queens out? Why did you move your queens out? Are you actually all-inning or not? Like, a whole lot of poker involved. But we're on Thunderbird, by the way. Thunderbird, one of the most defensible maps. The only real way to get up to the high ground is this ramp because of the unique and interesting mineral walls on the outside and in the center of the map as well. Only the lowly drones are able to get through those. So many years it's been units, but drones now have their day. Nice double queen. Brenda, why are there so many out here? I don't know. Maybe he just didn't notice. Or is it a fake? Yeah, Scarlett investing the time on the queens to kill overlords and not gonna be punished for it. So she's off to a pretty... That's a nice lead. The closest overlord on the other side of the map is halfway across. So Cham's not gonna have any vision early on. And knowledge is power, especially in Zerg versus Zerg. He's adding on 6 roaches, bunch of Zerglings. He's only got 36 drones. Scarlett is, as is typical, building a reckless amount of drones, plus 1 attack lair. So despite the lack of vision, I guess you don't need vision if you're just going to attack your opponent. Scarlett, her tendency, whenever she does lose, or even win, it's off the back of reckless greed. as we see here as well. Like 10 more drones, more tech, an extra upgrade. The +1 is canceled. Was the lair canceled? No. But Scarlett understands how serious this is. A drone is going to help everything come through. Cham using the map. 3 spine crawlers on the way, but they're still in the mail. And Cham is already delivering. The roach count, 14-7. There's some Zerglings for Scarlett. Is there +1 for Cham? There's nothing but roaches and lings. Does she have enough to defend the +1? Restarted. That's some confidence right there. Behind this, Cham's already realizing that he's not going to break through, at least not solidly enough. Queen's being targeted down, but the spine crawler's adding a whole lot of damage on the back line. Looks like they're actually being targeted onto the hurt roaches here. Well, not necessarily the hurt ones, but they do extra damage to armored. And suddenly, Scarlett turns it all around. She has her lair and techs off it too. Speed +1 quicker. That was just a solid defense. This was scouted far too early, despite the slightly reduced travel time. And now Scarlett simply has better tech, more roaches. This drone still looking for opportunities. Unfortunately, there is no room for work on the other side of the map. Now Cham's the one making spine crawlers, but this is not a scenario in which you want to be making spine. Scarlett, fine, alright, you got more drones, you got more tech. Cham, on the other hand, has more drones now, but he may regret that. 17 roaches to 5. Speed is done to nothing even in production. This seems pretty cut and dry here. Scarlett crushing through. Solid defense. Cham is pretty historically, I neglected to mention it, a bit of a timing-oriented player. And Scarlett takes a relatively simple game number 1. That wasn't really that close. It was simple enough. Scarlett, now I'll draw your attention to SC2 replay stats. Shout out to SC2 replay stats. But on the right side, SPM, that is screens per minute. Now in a shorter game like this, it's not as big of an indicator. But screens per minute is simply how many times you switch what you're looking at the screen. Whenever the screen moves more than 50%, this isn't tracked in-game, but SC2 replay stats is able to track it. And 57 screens per minute for Scarlett. That means about once every second she's looking at a different part of the map, which I average usually between 20 and 30. I'm not particularly great. Cham that game had 30-something, and once again, it's a shorter game, so it's a little harder to use that as an indicator. But on average, Cyril and Raynor both are over 50. It's just ridiculous. It's hard to follow in first person just spectating what they're doing, because by the time you see something, you interpret the information, and you turn it into an action, it seems like they're already on another thing. Like, just sheer speed. Something to look for. It's another one of those stats I don't want people to read into too much, but I actually think it is a better indicator of who is playing faster than APM. Because APM, yes, there's a big difference between 500 and 300, but there's not a big difference between, like, 350 and 400, which is kind of what we saw that last game. Okay, I guess we're just going to change the colors every goddamn game. Okay, guys, fine. Wait, Scarlett is playing Protoss. Alright. We're done screwing around. She got her easy ZVZ game. Now moving on to real gameplay. And it doesn't appear this was an accident. For those who don't know, Scarlett has one of the few pro players in the history of StarCraft to win a professional match as a different race. And now, technically, Neeb played Terran up until Legacy of the Void. You might be like, well, I didn't know that. That should tell you how well he did. But Scarlett, one of the few pro players to win a match with 2 different races in a single professional tournament. She's also been #1 Grandmaster on North America with Protoss as well. as Zerg. And might I add, at the time, she was in the I Hate Toss clan. So, if you can't beat them... we'll have to see. But this is not like, LOL, I can just beat you with Protoss. Scarlett's Protoss is scarier than almost everyone else's main race as well, so... I'm excited. I'm interested and excited to see, does she go with like some ridiculous now if you watched Showtime versus Scarlett from WCS Summer, Showtime laying down some very well executed and honestly abusive Protoss strategies. Did she find inspiration in that? I wouldn't be surprised to see something like an Immortal Sentry timing, something very tempo-oriented, and I hate those buzzwords like timing, attack, tempo, upgrade timing, but essentially tempo-oriented and not the sickest rapper in all of StarCraft. No, but a little bit, but no. It is essentially dictating the pace of the game through your build. For example, if you go for an Immortal Sentry timing, the Zerg kind of has to stop and say, we're dealing with this now. We're playing by this tune. We have to respond to the current build. It runs the risk of, if it's shut down or scouted early enough, that you can be thrown off and they can kind of turn it on you. But especially for Protoss, a well-executed tempo play will really just kind of throw the game in whatever direction you're interested. The Stargate is similar, but not the same. It's not like, oh, they built a Stargate, so now everything has to change. The Stargate limits options, but it's not the same as moving out with like an Immortal and 2 Sentries. The Stargate actually indicates to me she's going to be playing super safe. Like, the Stargate forces a certain response. It forces anti-air. It gives you almost unlimited scouting, and it gives you basic defense as well. It's not as strong of a tool or direct of a tool as a Robo, but it definitely has more uses. The Oracle's like the Swiss Army knife of Protoss. Can do everything. You want detection? Bam, right there. You want to do damage? Bam, right there. You want to annoy Zergs left and right? Bam, right there. One of the most annoying units in the game. You want some other form of defense? You got Stasis Ward. And then suddenly, look, 2 Adepts shading in. Are there any other units? No! That means the Adept's going to get some damage done. The Oracle baiting the Queen's a little out of position. 2 drones so far, and counting. I can count like it. There's a thing over here, but I'm going to count 2. 5, 8. Oh my god. Terrible, terrible damage. It's a disaster for Cham. 14 kills. Essentially for 2 Adepts. So yeah, it's not great. If you're a Zerg, he got a little greedy. He knew about the Stargate, right? Oh, he never saw it. Wow. But he knew. The amount of damage that was done there is actually kind of ridiculous. There's no Nidus happening. Scarlett, you see, well, Scarlett's like, okay, a layer's done. That's the only thing here, which makes it feel like it's going to be a Nidus. Already building a Void Ray to shut that down, killing an Overlord, scouting pylons. Twilight Council and Forge. So essentially here, Scarlett has every option and full scouting, whereas Cham, I feel like the thought of a Nidus went through Cham's head, but Scarlett has kind of shut that idea down before it could have started. And just going, once again, this feels a little bit like the last match, where, well, not the same opener, but we're in the same scenario where Cham kind of just has to pick a single path and hope Scarlett doesn't kill him. Having a later third, as well as the only saving grace is a tiny bit the upgrades. the +2, +1. Those are better upgrades than a Zerg player usually expects to have. But there's no Hydralisk Den. Roaches, in ZVP, it doesn't matter nearly as much as hitting before. Like, it doesn't matter what upgrades you have. 4 or 5 Immortals are going to look at those Roaches and laugh them off the stage. There's only 1 Immortal going on 2 right now, but I don't know if there's going to be a window for Cham to actually attack, especially considering there's still 2 Oracles and a Void Ray. By the time Cham gets across the map, he's going to lose half a dozen Roaches or more if the Oracles are interested. So I'm not sure what the plan is to deal with this. Like, because you can't just ignore 2 Oracles and a Void Ray unless you... I mean, you can. I wouldn't recommend it. Cham hasn't been building drones, by the way. It looks like Cham's just gonna go. He's building 1 drone right now. I don't know what... he wants 50 drones and Roaches, and that seems to be it. There's an observer seeing all this. He's just gonna go for it. 2-1 Roaches. The Queens are probably gonna be on the way across. Brenda. Oh, here we go! This seems ill-fated. Well, we don't have many options right now. We're going. We're on the way. We're gonna block the Roaches. The Void Ray's already finding kills. Scarlett is so many different flavors of ready for this. 66 probes, multiple stasis wards, full revelation. Like, this is not going to work. This is absolutely not gonna happen. Like, the stasis, oh my god. Who needs force fields? The Immortals are in position, the Queens looking on with disgust. 1 Immortal goes down. This is a textbook defense. Near perfect here. Great force fields. The corrosive biles have to be used defensively. Scarlett running out of energy on the sentries now, but still more stasis. Retreating back. Now, there's no shield batteries here, but the stasis wards have been so good. Is there blink? There is no blink. There's charge, but wait, is that a hard wall? Nope, just staying chill. Cham is still sending units across. Scarlett not overextending. Oh, the Stalker's getting a little far forward. The Immortals... Oh, another barrier's re-triggered. And suddenly, this is starting to get dicier than expected. The Stalkers are a bit questionable here. I think charge lots would probably work out better. I think now Scarlett agreeing. But the Immortal count has been whittled down a bit. It's just the economy, the continued production. The Queens on the backline helping it a lot. Some of those units were frozen earlier. The cannons now finally starting to be able to participate. The Void Ray going to work. This is definitely not how anyone, including myself, imagined this going. Cham continuing to push through. Those upgraded Roaches. With a little bit more staying power than originally expected. But now there's going to be some Archons on the opposite side. There's still a Stasis Ward. This is getting dicey. But Scarlett still, as long as she holds on to the third base, going to have a solid economy. Corrosive Biles launched up and knocking down the Nexus potentially. Suddenly the Archons looking vulnerable. The probes are coming out, Cham. The continued push. Okay, so I guess everyone but Cham thought that Scarlett would hold that. I really think it was the Stalker Warpins. I've said it before, but without Blink there, I think the Stalkers just didn't have the tankiness needed in that situation. I think going for Stalkers was a little greedy. They're costly units, and there's nothing in front of them. So I think charge lots needed to be the choice. Stalkers are a great unit if you have Blink, if you have something in front of them, but it was just a bunch of Roaches and Lynx. Brute force is going to overwhelm them. And while I'm surprised, I did not think that would break through. But Cham, full commitment. continuing forward, and credit to him, he didn't just run with it here. Scarlett's still gonna play Protoss, by the way, on Kairos Junction coming up. I don't know if it's map dependent or not. It is a best of 9, so that's 1-1. But yeah, I guess the 2-1 upgrades are a little better than I expected. You rarely see a Zerg player opt for those upgrades so early on. Cham was kind of doing almost a 2-base on. Remember, he lost 14 drones. Somehow Scarlett made, I don't know if we'll call it a mistake, but playing a very similar way to how she plays Zerg, which is maybe a little bit of early pressure into a very greedy transition. Like, that was 66 probes, 3 bases, Templar Archives, Immortals, plenty of gates, and upgrades while building these probes. Cham was like, 50 drones, we're done with it, let's go. Scarlett looking to block the base. Cham not even, just gonna kind of circumvent the whole thing by just getting a spawning pool. So, the reason this pylon is in such a semi-weird position, as explained by Neeb, is because this allows you to get the probe out like 2 seconds faster, and that way you can guaranteed block the hatch. I don't think it's worth it to have a pylon in such a weird position, but it's literally a 2-second quicker probe at their natural to block the hatch. And as a Zerg, I can say it's annoying, and as a Protoss, I feel like it doesn't do that much. But who am I? Scarlett, both a better Zerg and Protoss than me by a large margin. Scarlett in MMR is to me what I am to like a Platinum Leaguer. Now, there might only be a couple hundred players between myself and Scarlett, and like 20,000 between myself and Platinum. But it is the same level of difference. And yes, I was trying to redeem myself there by including that information. It's like, well, you guys are still bad. Okay, so deal with that. Oh, wait. Is this how you can wall this off? Never mind, I'm dumb. This is a great wall. Is this going to be a pylon there? Oh, not enough minerals! Oh, and the... Oh. The perfect positioning to pop the probe through. And cancels, gets that money back. Oh, perfect maneuvering. Scarlett saw the timing of the gas, by the way. That means she knows when Zergling speed can be finished. And so you can chase with the Adept. You can re-scout with the probe. You thought you were going to take a third. Well, apparently you are. But you're also going to get scouted. So come on, throw down the sprays. Give him the sprays. Very important. Get that spray. Okay, comes back in scouts. No lair yet. Oh, we're gonna do the fancy prism plays. I've always... Okay, this is another one of those things that I think is silly, but I'm not really qualified. It's like, we're going to drop a sentry and a stalker out of a prism. It's like, okay. Like, that seems like a very expensive Viking. But there is an Immortal on the way. This is a more convoluted way of doing an Immortal push as well. Like, it's not a prism for the Sentry Stalker, but still. Now, the worker count is kind of weird right now, as Cham's been long distance mining, just not having your normal... It's just a single Adept. Those Zerglings, despite their wings, they very sadly cannot fly. It is a very sad story. They're like the chickens of Zerg. Also, this is a vision blocker, so ground units can't see this. Nice positioning there. A second immortal, I believe, is on the way. Yes, 2 immortals. And now we're going to do some fancy navigating here. Shading the adepts in. Whoop, not going to risk it. Cham has enough defense for now. 3 more gates on the way. Another immortal being chrono boosted out. All aboard. It's the Soul Train. From Soul Korea. We've got sentries, immortals, adept shading through. A fancy move. We've seen Classic and Zest use that a lot. The advanced adept shade micro. But there are now 3 immortals. I think we're going. It's time to go. All aboard. That is 3 immortals. That's a bunch of sentries. There's roaches on the way for Cham. He cancels a lair. He's taking this very, very seriously. This is still going to be a very strong push, though. This push popularized by Parting back in the day, repopularized by none other than Parting today. Just immortals and sentries. Yeah, Ravagers can break force field, but at what cost? Ravagers are on the way. A bit of a supply block for Cham. Great force fields to start. Will he be able to knock down 2? He gets both with a corrosive bile. The drones are pulled. There's not that many that can be pulled in this scenario. There are still 3 immortals with this. The rest of the drones! Another corrosive bile. It's not enough. Just retreating back a little bit. Another warpin. 21 drones have been slaughtered. And not a single immortal will fall. GG. Scarlett with pinpoint execution executes Cham. That's more like it. 2-1. That was... Well, there's a textbook for you. If you wanted to know how to do that, there you go. Major Kevin the Sour leading the charge, but we all know the Warp Prism. The real MVP. Next up is King's Cove. Cham has yet, like, we have yet to see a game make it past 10 minutes. Even the game where Cham won felt like Scarlett was winning. So... But thank you to Drickett for putting this all on. If you want more of these matches, make sure to smash that like button or type a kappa in the chat. You might be like, what does that even do? Drickett has a, I don't know, I guess it's a good habit of the matches he sponsors that ends up on YouTube, that you might be watching right now, of actually responding to every comment, even the dumb ones, which are most of them. No offense, not you, but those other people. Not you, of course. He is very, very responsive to all the Grandmaster Battle Royale comments and stuff like that. So good for him. I envy his initiative. So if you wanna say hi to Drickett, make sure to smash that comment thing. Scarlett, she played 1 game of Zerg. She's like, all right, that's my 1 Zerg game for today. It's Protoss time. And Cham is no pushover, despite the current scoreline. Cham is routinely in the top 5 GM on NA. Oftentimes number 1, whenever Scarlett's Protoss doesn't decide it wants That's not today. Oh, wait, whoa. What? That's a forge. Wait, what? Why is that a forge? Is this like a supercharged lot all in or something? Like, cause that is not any, that's not a cannon rush. Oh, I lied. Did I lie? Yes, it is a cannon rush. Wait, what? What? Oh, because the okay. So an assimilator is actually that. It's so, oh my god. So an assimilator is larger than the refinery. Putting it on the gas geyser actually, oh my god. Oh, Florencio. Florencio's in the lobby right now. Like, this actually seems more of a printf thing. But, oh, this is the, that's a robotics facility. This is, I don't even. Oh my god. Scarlett, trying to get those kills with the probe, the fighting probe. Reshield the probe. Oh my god. But is Cham actually holding this? It's unclear. Just gonna go for the high ground, but the probe is shut down. Shut down. And now the cannon. An Immortal's on the way. There's no energy left on the shield battery. Is it doing enough? Do both pylons power the robot? A little bit, I blame Haz for this. Not a Haz. North America has the most finely curated cheeses. Especially cannon related. That Immortal's gonna pop out. Does she recall immediately? She's gonna have to recall. Yeah, gotta get out. Get out. Get it out. Get it out! It's out of here. So, Cham holding, but at what cost? There's a baneling nest on the way now. That's not gonna be spotted, right? No. There's just 10 more lings. And once again, we have a game where Cham says, well, here we go! No, I'm sorry. Cham says, here we go! It's 15 drones. There's not even warp gate on the way. A classic controller Protoss move. Getting creep tumor and a lair. This could end up being an overlord drop, and Scarlett already has a pylon. Spotting for pretty much exactly that. There's 6 drones on the way. I have no idea how this goes. Like, it feels like Scarlett's winning pretty hard right now. Because she's got more workers, better tech. Cham saw the Stargate. He's like, ah, gee willikers. I'm sure that's exactly what he said. Because the Stargate pretty much shuts down all the options. Yep, that's a whole lot of, that's a surprising amount of lings. The ling's like, oh, okay, alright. What's that up there? Just keep moving, keep your head down. Don't worry about it. Well, the queen boxing out. Not even investing in a low ground spore because Cham is on quite a budget. Oh my god, the great vanguard of lings will be burnt through.
Swarm forces under attack.
That Avather announcer. I wonder what announcer Scarlett is using.
Oracle perceiving.
Just default. Might be a different account. You know what? I wouldn't put Diva past Scarlett, alright? Prove me wrong, Scarlett. Oh wait, that wasn't the announcer. We haven't figured it out yet, actually. I thought we did. I was wrong. Wait for it.
Dimensional strength.
Get supply blocked or something, Scarlett. Come on. I'm not even like, nothing's going wrong, so it... Oh, yeah, default. What is this? Oh, it's an overseer. Yeah, we had to wait, because usually the announcer shows up when you make a mistake, like not enough minerals or supply block. Nope, the only thing we heard was research complete. Sentries on the way. Like, this is a game I think Scarlett could get like a Robo Bay. You could pretty much do whatever you want. You got a third base as quick as a Zerg. You know you got more workers. You got perfect scouting on that tech. Slap down that Robo Bay. Give me the Colossi. Give me the Disruptors. Give me the big booms. Or just do a sentry push. That's also fine, I guess. I mean, there's not really a wrong answer here. What are you... What? Scouting sentries. Everybody knows sentries renowned for their scouting abilities. 4 more gates on the way at that 50-ish probe mark. Take notes. Just laughing at the Zerglings that tried to get the... I don't know how they found him, but they did. Alright, where's the splash damage? Oh, that Twilight's kind of late. Are we going to see any other tech? Actually, kind of interesting. That is quite a late Twilight. Another Robo's on the way. Robo Bay. Robo Bay. Robo Bay. No Robo Bay. I really want to see Scarlett use Disruptors, but I think it's just going to be a whole lot of Immortals. Immortals? Very good units. Now, this is how you know you got a lot of Oracle energy. When you use Revelation and then use the Oracles to kill creep tumors. That's a little excessive. That's like using the backlight on your Game Boy when it's light out. Alright? That's unnecessary. But I guess you have rich parents and you got the SP, okay? Well, lucky you. Templar Archives on the way. Charge lots as well. Scarlett's still running with this lead. Cham may have forgotten that he got a Baneling Nest before. Wait, did he cancel it? Did I never notice that he canceled it? Okay, so he's not building a second Baneling Nest. Fun fact. He did cancel it earlier when he realized it wasn't going to work out. Changeling sneaking. Sneaky sneak. Hold position. Just taking a look. Infestation pit is on the way. This, like, Scarlett, it's going to have to be a little bit of a combination of one, Scarlett making at least a slight mistake, and also Cham getting into a great position to force that. Cham's at 81 drones. And Scarlett's got Storm finishing. Prism is done. We're going. Charge is finishing. More Immortals. There are 8 gates behind this. A 4th base. There's really no reason not to attack here. The Prism's being sent out. Scarlett's been holding at 66 probes for quite a bit. Let's go. We're going. We're going to move out. We're going to attack. We're going to strike. We're going to maintain an aggressive posture. We're gonna play the opposite of defense. Here we go. Oh, no. Okay. Where did the Prism go? Well, that summarizes that. That might be why. Yeah. Without a Prism? Wait, what? Oh, I thought... Okay. Hallucinated Phoenix is here. I actually think Scarlett might be waiting a little too long. Like, if you wait for Broodlords, then you got a real problem. But there's the Infestation Pit Scout. Let's go to the Scarlet Cam. Spire. Hive. Yeah. Let us go. It's time to move. It's time, unless you're gonna get 2 more Stargates and a fleet beacon like a real tryhard. Now that I say it. The hive is not done. That puts a clock on Broodlords that you know they're not gonna be out for about 2 minutes at minimum. So this is the Zombie Toss Death Ball. 10 Immortals. Double digits. We got 11 charge lots. Most of them being sent out because those are weak units who do not deserve to be in the main unit composition. There's a Warp Prism. Hydras know that there's going to be a Warp Prism. But how do you stop this army if you're Cham? He's got money in the bank, but are there enough mainlings? Needs to draw out some energy. The mainlings are trickling through. Yeah, that's not nearly enough. The Immortal Shields are stripped away. A lot of the energy is used, but there's still storms held onto. Stasis wards to retreat. Another round of mainlings rolling through. +2 attack not done. The Immortals are holding the line. Another round. Most of the extraneous units have been taken out. The mainlings trying their absolute best, but the Immortals do not seem to care. A reinforcing wave of charge lots is coming through. All the weak units are stripped away, and Immortals are left over, and pretty much all of them. A grand total of 0 Immortals were killed that game, which isn't very many. Immortals were the right call. As much as I wanted to see Disruptors or Colossi, Immortals are, well, Immortals. Honorable Shad of the West doing his best. Representative Anderson was the best for Cham. Scarlett with 42 SPM to 23. I mean, she was working off Stargate units for much of that. Three to 1. Scarlett will continue to play Protoss as we go into the next match. And, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. Alright, everybody. I've been trying this lately. Everybody sit up. We both know that you're hunched over, eating your Dorito chips, or you're looking over your phone. Like, let's spend 2 minutes pretending like we're not doing the best impression of the Hunchback. I'm sorry out there, Roddy, if you're watching. What are the... Tell me right now in the comments or in the chat. What are the best flavor of Doritos? There's only one correct answer. Top right is... You guys can read, right? Maybe, maybe not. Jury's still out on that one. Is that a Nexus first? Yeah, that's really greedy. But it is not a pull first for Cham, so it's going to be hard to punish it. It will not be scouted early. This is, once again, Scarlett going to get the jump on this game. Looks like Cham going to go for a quick third. Or just looking for a cannon rush. Cham not holding his second OV at his natural to look for cannon rush. I wonder what Cham's reaction will be. We still haven't seen a game where Cham really gets an economy without already being behind. I would love to see what Cham does if he's able to get to 60 drones without most of them being murdered. Okay. Yeah, the timing of that Cybercore in second gate will give most of this away. There are 4 lings on the map. The 2 gates can easily build those 2 adepts, so it's not like there's not going to be units. You don't have to sit back building a bunch of cannons. Just a little bit of a differently timed pressure here. Those 2 adepts, like, just cause Scarlett went next is first doesn't mean she can't put on any pressure. 2 adepts, especially before speed, are deadly. If these just... Oh, what? 2 stalkers behind? I'm gonna learn along with you guys. I don't have any idea. The adepts are speeding across the map. A little bit lazy on the shades. Maybe intentional. Oh, wait, whoa. Is this just... Oh, this is a classic cheese. A classic cheddar. The adept still looking for an opportunity. Speed is closing in on completion. Is it just going to be a bunch more gates after killing the Overlord? This is some cheesy Whatever it is, it's some cheesy Protoss bullshit. Still building workers is Scarlett. Cham behind on them because he's still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. 3. Yep. Kill the Overlord. 5 more gates, including the one on the other side of the map. The gateway explosion. Cham is scouring. Cham is scouring. Oh! Up! Up! The Zerglings are on the way. Warp gate is done, but this is not yet a warp gate, so warp pins are not going to be on point. The units are on the way across. Another pylon. Scarlett doesn't have... She's supply blocked. She can't warp in. Reinforcements are on the way. Trying to get some units out there, but gets both pylons, cutting this off at the knees. Scarlett's actually supply block here. Now this is an awkward amount of units to have. Are there enough Zerglings? There should be here. None of these units are upgraded. A recall. 1 stalker left behind. Gonna lose a single adept. But Scarlett beaten back. This cheese has been shredded. At the same time, though, Scarlett is still left with a lot of infrastructure. There's another probe on the way. The commitment. Yeah, Scarlett swerving now. Twilight Council of Forge. Yeah, that probe. Cham's gonna be like, really? Are you serious? A 3rd base is the obvious choice here. Have a lot of units, not a lot of tech. Oh, the Zerglings looking for an opportunity. Gonna find one. But wait, who's trapping who? It appeared... Well, that was a great bait there. Blink is on the way, so Scarlett... Now, this leaves kind of an awkward scenario. Cham, not a huge economy. Oh, canceling the 3rd would be huge. No, not gonna commit. Doesn't want to invest. Because if Cham loses his Zerglings right now, he has no map control. And if he has no map control, he can't spend this time getting his economy up. It becomes very risky. I think Cham's playing this. He's finally settled down. He's playing it smart. He's going to realize soon, I think, by the amount of stalkers and sentries. This will end up... Oh, well. Ooh. Well, that was greedy. Okay, this is actually too many drones. Cham pulling a Scarlett here. Too many drones, Cham. Too many. 60-something is too many. Just build roaches. Oh, the Zerglings? Wait. Zealot not quite on hold position. Yeah, at this point, the lack of tech is going to be a little suspicious in and of itself. There's no other tech for Cham. I think next up would be an infestation pit. I personally don't like swarm hosts because they take too much micro, but I think roaches into swarm hosts make a lot of sense against this unit composition. He's still not 100% as this is so straight up in gateway units, But Roach Ravager with 67. The brick is coming together, looking to smash through Scarlett's window. Roaches and Ravagers on the way. Scarlett completely out of position. Where's the recall? The Stalkers are scrambling back. This base is already under attack. A massive Roach Ravager army. Already probes going down. The Stalkers coming back to reinforce. They have +1 done. They have Blink, but their numbers are few. Cham is committed. He can't retreat from this position. The Guardian Shield being used. The Nexus A force field while it stands. All sentries are down. Zealots being warped in on top of all this. The probes as well being part of the defense. So far is the Blink micro there. The Nexus being targeted. Cham pulling back. Oh. It's risky to blink forward. Picks off a Ravager. Looking for more opportunities. Scarlett gonna have to be very cost effective. Blink and ghetto blink with the Prism. Or better blink, depending on who you ask. Oh, what a save on the sentry. So far trading well. The Zealots take a lot of hits to kill. Sliding to the left with the blink. Going to have to be so cost effective now. Is there a Nidus? There is no Nidus network, right? Is there any other tech? No. Cham just laying into the Roaches and Ravagers. He's got 4 hatcheries. No other tech, but does he need it? The brute force approach could and should be effective here. There are no Immortals. There are no Storms. There are no Disruptors. One blink and it could all be over. This base gonna be knocked down again. The attempt was there. A cancel at the last second. But Cham just has so many Roaches and Ravagers. You pick off 1 and 3 replace it. It's not going to be enough. There's just simply not the numbers here. +1 is now done for the Roaches and Ravagers. The Blink micro is good. It's not going to solve the problem. Cham takes another one. And Jimmy says, before we get into this next match, just a quick advertisement. If you could pause ad block, that'd be awesome. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you about Twitch Prime and all these exciting show matches. 1. Did you know with Twitch Prime you can subscribe to a streamer of your choice for free every single month for free? And if you don't subscribe right now, it's like losing money. Don't think about it, just do it. Also, I want to thank Drickett of Team Exxon for putting on so many of these matches, the organizer of StarCraft 2 Grandmaster Battle Royale. You can follow him on the tweeters, Drickett3, I believe it is. If it's relevant, would somebody find a link or in the description? And speaking of the description, if you're making your way down there, smash that like button. Why? Because YouTube loves engagement. And we're not talking about really lovey-dovey, overblown, pretty much just for Instagram engagement videos where they have like everyone they've ever known for the last 14 years come in and watch them engage themselves in a marriage that will last less time than it took to put together that video. No! We're talking about you interacting with the internet. I know it sounds scary, and it is. But you can do it. Alright. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Ring all the bells on all the sites. If this is on Facebook, then somebody stole my video, but make sure to like it anyways. And thank you for watching this match. Thank you to Drake for putting it on, and thank you for your support. We're back to the match. Cham finally striking back. Scarlett has maintained her Protoss pick. I wonder if at some point there is a legitimate possibility. Many pro players have a weak matchup, but not many have a strong off race. Many Zerg players have had complaints or struggles in Zerg versus Protoss. Many Zerg players, especially who don't wear a fedora in 2019, you know who I'm talking about, have had real issues. So, for some players, it legitimately may be a higher win rate to just play Protoss. Oh wait, I was talking about ZVZ. That doesn't make sense. But in general, yeah, my entire point didn't make sense because Scarlett was playing against the Zerg. Maybe ZVZ. ZVZ, a bit too much of a gamble, a coin flip. Why not just rig the coin by building sentries? Whatever, the analogy works. Okay, don't worry about it. I remember. So let's do a throwback tie-in. MLG, I want to say Raleigh, maybe Anaheim, 2013-ish. Scarlett playing against Dong Regu. I'm there in person. Fun fact. I actually got to the round of 32-ish, where I got absolutely destroyed by Bomber in the open bracket of that MLG. But I made it surprisingly far. I got slapped around, like, every, like hold your don't bring children in to watch, rated R for wrecked, absolutely 100% by Bomber, in person. I got to shake his hand, be like, yeah, you really fucked me up. Anyways, so, Scarlett playing against DRG on the main stage. Dong Regu, he's back, by the way, in GSL. But, she loses the first game in ZVZ. It was pretty tough. So the next game, a hush goes over the crowd, mostly because there's nothing happening. And then the game loads up. Scarlett is Protoss. Excitement. Scarlett does like a 9-gate charge lot all in. Great success, victory! And then, I'm pretty sure she did it again in another game and won the series. Like, and that was my first experience. Just super cheesy, 2-base all-in timing. Destroy Dong Regu, who had to be like, oh god damn it. Why are there not rules against this? Mostly because almost no one was interested in even attempting it, so. Okay, there's no queen here. The Oracle only picking up 3 kills. There's a second one on the way. This has become pop. Oracles have had a weird history. When it comes to the amount of oracles that are built. So, for a while, people went for one oracle. Like, over the last year, about a year ago, it was very common to just go one oracle into Phoenix, or Phoenix into Oracle, and then follow up with tech. And then, as time goes on, there's the big patch. And then printf is like, hey guys, did you realize that there's a bug with the oracles since it came out, and it's doing more damage than intended? And then, Blizzard's like, oh, thank you, and they nerfed the oracle by removing the bug that had been there since it came out, completely unbalancing it and making it far too weak. And printf being like, whoa, that's not what I meant. And then they reverted that in a day. But that got everybody looking at the Oracle again. And then people like M-Canning start going like 6 Oracle, 8 Oracle openers. They're like, even though it was the same, they're like, oh yeah, Oracles are a pretty good unit. But after a month or two, people started figuring that out. And we were back to 1 Oracle. And now, over like the last month, and I'm not sure why, But people like Neeb and Stats have been going for 3 oracles, which is like this weird middle ground number of you've just spent 450 gas on oracles, but like, which is a pretty big commitment, but it's still kind of a macro build. So 3 oracles seems to be the prevailing trend for people who open Stargate nowadays, and that's what we see from Scarlett here. That was a long way of saying this is not a weird thing to do, it's just kind of an odd history with the Oracle. Whether you build 1 or more oracles. Warp Prism coming in, Warp Prism going out. You can't explain that. Oh no. The Spore Crawler isn't done, which means a lot of damage will be. Oh, murdering drones! 11 slaughtered by the pulsar beams. And behind this, well, there's a whole lot of Zerglings, but there's a Templar Archives finishing up. There's plenty of units on the ground. 4 more gates. Scarlett has opened up a whole lot of space. I'm pretty sure Cham was readying for a follow-up, like an Archon drop, which never came. A beautiful force field donut, a protective donut. The most aggressive of Guardian Shields. Warp Prism into the main, looking for an opportunity. Now, Cham bounced back. Losing 11 drones 6 or 7 minutes in isn't nearly as bad as before Layer Tech finishes. You already have a lot of production. You already have a lot of hatches and injects, so you can bounce back pretty quick. Still, obviously, you wouldn't want to lose it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. So this is the closest we've gotten to an even game. Scarlett has done all the damage, but Cham has been quite greedy. So we're playing a... Okay, I'm gonna whisper it, so maybe they don't hear. We're playing a macro game. You gotta be careful. They've seemed to avoid it thus far. All the pieces are coming together. Hydralisks, Hydra speed, Bane speed, upgrades. Hydra range is already finished. Decent creep spread. Warp Prism on the map. Scarlett finishing up gateways 9, 10, and 11, as well as looking for a 4th. The Warp Prism is spotted. Hive has begun. Cham actually building it at the 3rd base here, which is just where he happened to get it early on. Much safer against Warp Prisms. 160 to 151 supply. Bigger army supply for Scarlett. It's a timer on Broodlords now, really. But there's a lot that can happen before that Hive finishes up. The Greater Spire completes, and then the Broodlords are actually built. +1 attack on both sides, melee and ground weapons. Muscular augments finishing up. Hallucinated Phoenix will actually spot through. I assume she saw that the lair was in the main. I mean, at the 3rd, rather. A bunch of charge lots being sent out. Scarlett only at 68 workers, which is still fine, but it indicates, well, she's not getting greedy with it. Really focused on having a large army supply. Some Banelings coming through. Remember, every time a Baneling attacks, it always gets at least 1 kill itself. Some stasis wards, going to be very helpful against potentially counterattacks. This is a weird fight. The Warp Prism still waiting for an opportunity. The Hive is done. Greater Spire should be a few seconds out. Oh. It's such a weird exchange between Zerglings and like charge lots, Lings and Banes. It's hard to tell who gets the more cost-effective end, but Scarlett is just kind of punching through the front. What is the unit count? 6 Immortals, 3 Archons, 6 Templar in the back line. Depending on the storms, this could go either way. Charge lots hitting multiple bases. The Immortal Phalanx doing its best, but not good enough. No recall, but the charge lots are looking for an opportunity. Charge lots slaughtering units in the main. The potential saving grace. They're also in the 4th. Cham was able to bring all his units to bear in the front. Yeah, the charge lots in the 4th. Unfortunately, not all of them were hitting simultaneously. Scarlett kind of losing control of the situation. The unit count overwhelming. Which means, unfortunately now, the real... Scarlett doesn't lose the game off this. though there maybe was a small window. This means Cham is pretty free to get to Broodlords. And that is the real danger. I appreciate how Cham doesn't just say, well, now I'm gonna go kill you, because defensive storms are much better than aggressive ones. Both are good. It's not, let's be clear, but. So, does Scarlett know about the hive? Once she sees the corruptors. Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe even cancel the robo and get... Where are the Stargates? Where are the Stargates? Where... There's one Stargate. There needs to be more. She's got to know. The corruptors only mean one thing. The Lords of the Brood. Is she actually just going to try to push? Or blink? 8 Broodlords on the way. That's... 10. 10. That's a GG of Broodlords right there. Scarlett just lost so much map control with that attack. Was beaten back so decisively. Blink is on the way. That's a half measure. Looks like Scarlett gonna try to keep Cham busy. Oh, they're on the way. If the first time they're spotted is on Scarlett's side of the map, it's pretty much already over. Like, the fact that Cham hasn't done an attack has to make this obvious. I don't have... Oh, that's not ideal. Things are starting to fall apart a little bit. The Broodlords waiting. Slowly zigzagging their way across the map. Blink is half done. Blink, the only hope of dealing with this. +3 attack is done, which means if the Broods are out of position... Oh no, the Templar are all right there. Scout backs off immediately. But is there going to be an opportunity for an actual recall here? I don't know where do you go? Like, this army trying to hold the line. Blink is nearly done. Good stasis ward. But reinforcements are on the way. Storms, a delaying tactic. A good storm on the Broods. Blink is seconds away. Oh, like 20 seconds. A single Phoenix. Goes some good storms to start, but there's only a few left. There need to be more storms on the Banes. They do a good job so far. When Blink is done, there might be an opportunity. Still 10 seconds on the Blink upgrade. Has to pull back. So many Broodlings. The Archon's helping out with those a lot. Somehow Scarlett holds for now. Still 1 Templar in the mix. The Broodlords are forced to retreat. Another set of Banelings. Hydras. Still all of the Broods and more are on the way. Banelings are going to make things difficult. There's an opportunity to flank here, but the Banelings mean the Blink is suicidal, potentially. Well, actually, Blink's over the Banes. Looking to snipe the Broods. There may just be too many. Like, wow. Cham doing the shuffle. The Brood shuffle. It's just too much. The attack left her crippled. Does Scarlett call on the swarm again? We'll see on Turbo Cruise. But now it's all tied up. 3-3. Best of 9. First of 5. I explained how it all works for you. You're welcome. This is why they pay me the esports money. Scarlett picks Zerg. She's back. She's left her side blades at the door and picked up her metabolic boost. Now we're getting serious. Best of 9. Cham. Oh, it's a cheese. Wait. Is this not the hatchery cheese? And you might be like, what's a hatchery cheese? It's where you take a hatchery and make it look like you're just doing a macro build, but then you build like 50 Zerglings. I guess it's just an... If he builds another drone, okay. It's not a cheese! Ignore it. Everybody go back. We'll edit that out. Jimmy, cut it. Strike it from the record. The double extractor trick, the fanciest plays, but it appears that's just how Cham likes to open up early game. Is it worth it economically? Maybe. Straight from the spawning pool. We are on Turbo Cruise, which features the inhibitor zones, the slow zones, 35% slower movement for everything, including buildings, if they happen to be there. No attack speed reduction, but they are a factor, especially since on this map they're just right smack dab down the middle. 3 sets of them. They give the defender a pretty significant advantage if they're able to find the right spot. Scarlett at 1 out of 3 in gas, so is Cham. Looks like we're going to go ahead and have the agreement on a third. Both taking on the high ground base. I'm not sure the philosophies on this map. I think that this third base is slightly closer. Zerg players usually have a different expansion pattern than the other races because of multiple factors, even in ZVZ. Part of it is how vulnerable you are to counterattacks and drops. Part of it is where you can actually get surrounds on things. Like in ZVT, tank pushes from this location are pretty nasty. Mainling nest on both sides. Scarlett, actually no, Cham, I take it back. The one to make some lings early. Usually there's a bit of a give and take, tug of war between who's making Zerglings and who's not. In Zerg versus Zerg. And then eventually it balances out with the person who made Zerglings earlier and then gets around to drones. Like right now it's 34 to 32. Because Cham made a few more lings. Scarlett sees it now. Good reaction. Creep tumor on the way. Bunch of drones for both sides. This is just mutual respect. As in, like, below... The reason you see roaches so often at high-level Zerg versus Zerg is because often, like, players just won't make a mistake on their Ling Bane micro. The reason why your games, and even my games, are so filled with Ling Bane is players are just not that perfect at micro. Like, half the time or more, the Banelings are going to get a good connection. But at this level, they just simply aren't. You cannot rely on it. And if you do a Ling Bane all-in, and Scarlett actually putting on a lot of pressure with Zerglings here, there are a couple sneaky Banes at the back. And I don't think she expected those, but there still should be enough to take out these queens. But it is very rare, and still, that wasn't the greatest Baneling connections. That is the reason you see roaches so much, is players are not relying on Lings and Banes. Okay. Edit it out to kill their opponent. Despite all this, we're at 45 drones apiece. Scout actually adding on even more in the way of Lings. +1 attack, layer on both sides. I believe Cham finished his up a little earlier. He can start the roach speed. Scarlett, a bit heavier on the Lings. Very sneaky. There's Scarlett, see it? No. So Scarlett's going to be caught a little bit behind on the upgrades, on the roach. Well, Cham didn't start roach speed. Cham, what are you waiting for? I'm actually not sure. Because he's obviously going roaches, but 3 up! Sneaky bags! Oh, well. Yeah, that's not ideal. Brenda just taking that one. That could have been bad. Now, this is the oldest trick in the book right here. 2 banelings hidden in the main on Zerglings that... Oh my god! Oh. I'm so... Oh. I mean... The banelings on both sides. The queens just, with their magnetic... a bit of a misfire on both sides. Professional StarCraft, everybody. They're obviously doing other things on the map. A Nidus on the way. Right past the Overseer. A Spire for Scarlett. But still a long way off. And we're at the economies where a Spire is not going to be the end of the world. Plenty of roaches on the way. Is that an Overlord? Is that a Dropper Lord? Okay, so this is gonna get weird. A split in... Whenever you have a slight split in tech in ZVZ, you really see people playing for advantages. Like, overall, a Spire is better than just having roaches. But the Nidus network can give you the queens, can turn that defender's advantage into an offensive advantage. There's a Nidus going into the main. You're going to have to defend both angles. Scarlett knows that she's vulnerable from 2 different sides. You got to be very careful. Don't lose the Ravagers first. The Nidus in the main shut down, but a lot of roaches committed to that location. The Spire finished. Oh, it's going to be a Bane drop as well. Things are heating up. Now, hopefully the Queen doesn't tank all of those Banelings. Another Nidus to reinforce. What's inside? Plenty of roaches. The Bane drop is sliding in. Another Nidus into the main. Cham is moving up. The Banelings ready to drop. Oh, up, up, up. Okay, 6 drones. The engagement's still happening. The main base Nidus not being taken out, though. Cham can retreat. In fact, Cham just has more roaches. Scarlett looking to deal with this. The reinforcements can come in. This is like a super warp gate. And suddenly there are too many roaches in the main. 4 mutas are on the way, but the main base is essentially forfeit. Cham has access to everything. All the economic damage Scarlett did pales in comparison to the amount of damage these roaches can do. They can easily transfer right back over to the other side. Another Nidus at the quote-unquote 4th base here. Roach is being traded out in the main. A little bit surprising here. The Nidus Worm not taken out in time. Still, the supplies all rebuilt immediately. Scarlett keeping units in position. Another Nidus on the side. The mutas might be able to take it out. Cham not utilizing them perfectly, but utilizing them well enough. Pops right back into the Nidus. They're not free, but they're pretty cheap. Another one pops out. He doesn't pop anything out in time. So Scarlett able to deflect all of this just barely. +2 attack, finishing within seconds for both sides. Cham, both players have 50-something workers. There are mutas. Cham is building more queens to make up for the anti-air. Another Nidus network is on the way. Cham's going to try to push through. What is the roach count? It's 38 for Cham to just 30 for Scarlett. She does have a couple Ravagers, but the micro isn't enough. Nidus network on the way for Scarlett. The queen's coming to reinforce. Brenda, go, move forward! That's the anti-air there. The corrosive bow's trying to come through Cham. Losing his roaches very quickly here, but the roach is reinforcing through the Nidus network. Muta's not adding that much DPS, even though there aren't the Carapace upgrades. The queens mean that this fight is pretty committed here. Some changelings not working the way Cham might want. The queen's gonna be slaughtered. And suddenly Scarlett finds herself at a 25 supply lead. And guess what? 2 can play that game. A Nidus plus mutas. Lots of mobility. More roaches popping out here. I don't know why. Why are you retreating? This is a bit of a game of chicken. But are the roaches just gonna run home? Nope, they're back into the Nidus. The Cham doesn't see the Nidus on his side of the map. Scarlett pops out. Plenty of roaches here. The roach count now in Scarlett's favor, as well as having mutas. There's really no serious advantage here for Cham. Besides a slight bit of defenders, but that doesn't even really count here. There's obviously more roaches for Scarlett. The Muta's kind of... Those are just changelings. Scarlett just has overwhelming forces. She defended multiple Niduses, did some counter damage. Cham not quite able to break through, and Scarlett returning to Zerg shows how it's done. 4-3. Scarlett at 404 APM. The response not found from Cham. Both sides, I think, had Father Ferdinand the Star Medal. What a name for a Ravager. That was a messy game. Full NA. Both players had an opportunity to do more damage early on. Scarlett gambling on the heavy Zergling play. Didn't quite pan out. But at the same time, Cham rushing into the Nidus. I think there was a little bit of opportunity for the Nidus to do more damage. It didn't do as well as you would expect. Nidus is definitely... I would say it's underutilized. But Nidus has become a staple of Zerg versus Zerg because, you know, it's faster than walking across the map. Popping out at warp speed from a Nidus. Don't tell me Scarlett's gonna pick Terran. Okay. No. I don't think so. But a solid series. So far, I think almost every game has been revolving more around Scarlett than Cham. There are just certain ways that... Well, there are certain play styles between Zerg and Protoss that Scarlett has been showing. Cham does feel a little bit like, especially in ZVZ, grasping at straws. Here we go. This could be match point. Scarlett need to relog. Playing from Korea. But here we go. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Dricket for putting it on. In the top left from Team Chivo, the Mexican Zerg. A letter hero. Looking this year to translate it into even more. It's Cham. In the bottom right, one of the most accomplished non-Korean players, and even including Korean players, in all of StarCraft 2. The Queen of Blades. Stunning spectators. Winning hearts and minds. For the better part of a decade. The Canadian Zerg Scarlett. From Team Newbie. Spelled like... Still doesn't sound great, but... Definitely not a newbie, though. The biggest issue Scarlett has had historically is consistency. There's been so many times. It's hard to be a Scarlett fan, to be honest. Because sometimes Scarlett will look like potentially the best player in the world. She'll win tournaments like IEM, qualify for GSL, and then sometimes it's like, oh no. I think it can be summarized by, like last season in GSL, just the simple summary. Oh no. And it's tough. Some players do struggle at lands, depending on the occasion. Alright. We're on Cyberforest again. Last time we saw this, it was Protoss versus Zerg. Cham actually taking it. Now in a best of 9, in a map pool of only 7, you're going to play the same maps potentially twice or more. Well, probably not more. I don't know what the rules are on that. And the rules are like, does that seem okay? No? Okay, pick a different one. Overlord spotting in, looking for the drone count. Having a bit of a dance party. It's time to... duel. Okay. Layer on the way. Oh, are we doing this? Oh, the fake. It's a fake. That's not a roach one. It's a third. Wait, did Scarlett notice? Scarlett is
Forces under attack.
gunning down this Overlord. Brenda, we're so close. No. Fuck. I mean, heck. That's unfortunate. Scarlett lining up for an all-out. Oh, that +1 a little bit late. An all-out +1 roach timing. With speed. This is a classic. This is one of the builds that has been a staple of StarCraft. StarCraft 2 specifically, since there are no roaches in StarCraft 1. Pretty much since the game came out. 9 fine years ago. Actually, I think today. No, maybe tomorrow. It is the 26th today. I think it came out on the 27th. I'd have to go check my box. Happy birthday! The creep is spotted. Wings on the way out. Wait. Oh no! It's on his side! Oh, well, I guess it's fine. Alright. So, for a second, it looked like the Lings might get in, but there's not enough to matter. Losing the Lings would actually hurt Cham more. Are the Queens coming? Are the Queens coming? Oh, yeah. Let's go! Brenda! Get my running shoes! The highway begins. Across the map. The build order is old as time. The +1 roach speed all in. +1 carapace is the choice for Cham. Hedging his bets a bit. +1 actually isn't done yet for Scarlett. A pretty big commitment. Is there enough to close out this series? The drones are pulled. 18 roaches to 7. Barely any Zerglings. +1 attack is done. The Queens to reinforce. Cham must hold. Some transfuses to start things off. The Roach Warren in a vulnerable position. All the drones at the third are pretty much forfeit at this point. Roaches popping out. Any that can be isolated. Going for the Queen gets one. More drones pulled. Any shots that don't go into his own roaches are potentially incredibly helpful. A wave of reinforcements. The drone's eating a lot of hits. But is it enough? Transfuses on both sides. Queens on both sides. Finally the Queen taken out, but a parting transfuse. The roaches are holding. It's unclear. Scarlett seems to have enough to break through. The numbers seem to be there. Some Zerglings popping out. +1 carapace helping immensely with them. Still more roaches. Cham maintains a worker lead. Roaches on the way. The unit count still in favor of Scarlett, but the roaches have to make their way across the map. Holding the line. The Queen in the back line. Doing its best. All the transfuses exhausted. More reinforcements. Each roach trickling out. The target fire is there. Cham losing his forces. Scarlett pushing through. One roach at a time. The Overlord's making it hard to see. There isn't roach speed for Cham. He can't reinforce as quick as he would like. The numbers are dwindling. The third base is vulnerable. Scarlett's third behind this is nearly complete. Another queen gonna pop out. Cham has to make a last stand. If he loses the third, he's just behind in every sense. The broodlings might be part of it. The queen assassinated. There's just more queens! The numbers aren't there. Cham faltered. And Scarlett, via Protoss and Zerg, has the numbers. Lays the last finishing touches on that hatchery kill. She's crushing through the front in Cham, one of the best players in North America. A ladder hero, a top grandmaster. 1G is more than enough Gs. Scarlett takes it 5-3. A solid execution, a sharp timing, a decisive victory. GG's. Scarlett 5-3. What was it? 1 and 2? Wait. How many games for his Protoss? I'm not gonna try to do the math. So 2 and 2 as Protoss, and then 3 and 0 as Zerg, I believe, was the record for Scarlett. So, her Zerg's still looking very strong. Protoss not bad either. But thank you to Drake for putting it on. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more of this, smash that like button like Scarlett's roach timing. Smash Cham. I have to pay respects. But, what do you think? I know more players just play Protoss in their spare time. Tell me all about it in the chat, in the comments. Subscribe. Do all those things. Follow Dricket on Twitter, though I don't know if he actually tweets anything. Make him feel better about it. Because everybody knows likes on Twitter translate directly into showmatch money. Everybody knows that. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the cast. And I'm sure we'll have more in the future. Thank you.